22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, welcome in. I see we got Timmy in the house. What's up, Timmy? What's up, Sean Williams? Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. We're having some technical issues today. It's got a brownout. My wife, we were ready to roll. All suddenly, brownout happened. What are you going to do? Welcome to the Philippines, right? Well, I'll give it a few minutes here before we get rolling good. Let some more people get in the house. But today's show, we are going to confront one of these passport bros, right? We're going to find out why did he betray everything good in America and leave out of America and go hunting over in another country to find somebody. And we'll just ask him all the good questions. Right here is the name of his channel, so you can find out more as well about him. The McEastlands. He's been a long time supporter of us, and we really enjoy them. And you guys go find out why. What's up, Timmy? Mercy's in the background right now. She got booted. We got a brownout, so. Luckily, I had the controls as well, so I'll be able to continue without interruption here. You don't get all the glamour when she's here. She knows how to do everything, but I'm not too bad, I guess. I'm not too bad of a backup plan. Oh, maybe. I'm seeing hope down here. You ready? Welcome in, Lynn. Thank you for coming in. Merce, was that a no? You're not ready, and then I popped you up. My bad.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So you had a brownout, just a quick one, huh?
Just
That's
in
good.
time.
It was a quick one. J3 in the house. Welcome in.
Hello, Timmy, Lynn.
Lynn is
J3.
in Singapore there. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. It's a hot topic right now in social media about the passport bros. What are they up to? What are they doing? There's a lot of things being said, and some of them may be true, and some of them may not be true, and some of them may be specific to a certain person, and some of them they're generalizing everybody, all of them's like this, all of them like that. So we wanted to try to find out more about the whys and the whos and the why are you doing this and all that good stuff. So we thought we'd do this live stream and try to get to the bottom of it. And today we're going to talk about our opinions of it and what we think. If it is something different than what you think, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section under the video if you're watching it on playback, or if you're here live with us, make sure you just leave a comment. Tell us what you think, how you think, or if there's a question you would like to ask, feel free to do that. But just we're going to be respectful and keep it all good like we normally try to do here on CheckouttheRileys. So thank you. Thank you guys for going to our premiere. To be honest with you guys, I messed up and forgot the premiere was going on, so that's why you didn't see me there. I've been racing to get this, make sure we were ready for the live stream. So with all the troubles that we were having, so it slipped my mind. I had a video premiere today, Merce, and I didn't show up. I didn't show up.
Oops.
Oop, oops, I did it again. I was on Philippine time. I thought it was.
Right,
But
right.
anyways, Merce will be leaving sometime during this, and we were happy to announce our youngest son did make honors at school, so she has to go to the honor ceremony today. Chase and Tell, welcome in. J3, Lynn, Timmy. Thank you guys. Looks like we got about 8 or 9 people already in the house. So let's go ahead and get this
Welcome.
started. Unless you need to say anything first, Mars.
No, no, nothing.
All
I'm
right.
here.
All right. Well, let's welcome in. Brett. Well, welcome in. You just said Brett, didn't you?
Mhm.
Well, I hear the dogs have plenty to say about
And
it.
Tim.
Tim Dizziak, welcome in. Aloha, aloha. So, without further delay, let's bring up our special guest today. Here he is, all the way from the great state of, where you from, Kenny?
I'm in Tennessee.
Tennessee. My
Yeah, so
wife
right
actually
outside of
loves.
Nashville.
Awesome. My wife really enjoys Tennessee, and she was trying to convince me to move to Tennessee, believe it or not. And I'd look kind of funny running around with all my Colts stuff on in middle of Tennessee.
It's either UT or Titans, but believe it or not, there's a lot of Alabama fans here too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, when you're down and when you start going south, like I was originally from Kentucky, so there was no, you know you don't know what you're going to run into there. Some people hate this team, that team, whatever, but once you start getting south, there's a lot of that where they really love those teams that are dominant in certain sports down there. So I can understand, but I like Tennessee because that's where my man Peyton Manning played college. So
UT.
yeah, there you go. So let's start off by asking you. You're familiar with this with the passport bros, right? You're
Right.
familiar,
This is something that's like popped up in the past month or so, and it's becoming quite the interesting topic.
right? Definitely. So when I thought about passport bros, right? And people will tell you exactly what it is, and there's variants of what they mean and who they mean, and it's all these categories, subcategory of what they're talking about. So it just depends on who you're talking to. What's up, Jay Mike? Welcome in, welcome in. So do you consider yourself a passport bro?
After I looked at the definition, I think I do fit some of the criteria, but it wasn't like planned that way. I kind of became a passport bro by accident or just unexpectedly.
Right,
And
right.
so but a lot of the things that kind of falls up under the definition that I came across,
Yeah,
those were I kind of like kind of feel like I fit in some of those aspects, not necessarily everything, but
right, right,
it's a few things in there I was like, oh, my mom
right.
might not like
I
that.
better
So
not use that.
I had to think
Right,
about that part.
right.
But yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing for sure, especially within like the African American community here in the United States.
Sure, sure. Now, do you like as far as the community there in the U.S. Um, are you around other people like in your community that have done the same thing, or is it still far and few in between?
It's still far and few. I don't know a whole lot of people, that are around me or that are like in my circle or even my next ring of circle of friends or acquaintances that have done something that I've done. I
Right,
mean, I've had a number of people say, "Man, you're a whole lot braver than I am. I couldn't just, imagine going to a whole nother country just to get married or just, that
right.
kind of thing."
Is
But no,
that
I don't know anybody. Well, other than the community I've been introduced to. Let me
right?
kind of back that up. And so, but that was like a community I was kind of introduced to that was connected to my wife.
Right.
And so that's kind of part of the story, shall I say.
Right. Hi, too. Welcome in. Thank you for coming in. Everybody, thanks again for coming to our show. We're trying to get to the bottom of this Passport Bros stuff, and we're gonna solve it today.
Well, I guess that's the thing. Is it a problem?
Well, to me, it's not necessarily a problem. To you, how about you? Is it a problem to you?
No. So after I kind of, been getting familiar with the topic, it's my opinion that any young man that has the means and the ability to get their passport and to get out of the country, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the Philippines or South Asia, anywhere in the world. When you're in a box, you only have like this limited view of what you see. But when you go out to the world, you see it's more that's available to you. You're not just limited to the people that are in your community, in your city, in your state, in your country. I mean, with technology, we can have access to almost anybody in the world that has, similar connectability. Right. And so if you have a passport, that could be possibly your most important document. I mean, and once you expand your mind, it's kind of hard to put it back in the box. And so that's kind of how I see it. Once, getting out of the country, and, if you have, if you have the means and the ability, I recommend anybody, not just Black folks, just anybody, get out of the country and go see something different, right. Meet new people, have new experiences. I think that's really what it is at the bottom of it.
Right. So what about, let's see. Let me ask you this, and it's going to be kind of a pointy question, okay? As far as the women in the U.S., why didn't you go down to the local watering hole or wherever you may go and just grab somebody there? Why did you look outside of your box to find somebody to be with? Can we ask you that?
It was actually an accident, and that's the funny part about it. So inside of Facebook, there's a dating app like Tinder,
right?
And I'm kind of bagging up one of my prayers because I'm at a point where I was like, well, hey, I'm using kind of like my belief system in this. I'm like, Lord, you know what I need, and you know what I like. And so kind of go forward a little bit. I'm on this dating app and I'm swiping left, I'm swiping right. And I come across this profile and it's a young lady and she looks a little sad. But when I'm reading the description, it says, this isn't my profile. This is for my friend. And she's shy, she's sensitive, all the usual, things and that kind of stuff. So I wasn't being catfished. Right. And so it was kind of interesting. I'm like, okay. So I liked her. Swiped right on it, but then she had a unique thing, and I went and found her outside of the app. I just found her on Facebook, just straightforward, and started messaging her.
Sure.
Now, the way these apps work is you're only supposed to connect with people within a certain radius of where you are.
Right.
And so when we connected, I'm asking her questions. I'm like, so are you in Nashville? She's like, no, I'm not in Nashville. And so I live in Murfreesboro, like outside of Nashville. I'm like, are you in Murfreesboro? She's like, no. And her friend that made the profile, she lives in that area of Tennessee called McMinnville. I say, are you in McMinnville? She was like, no. I'm like, well, where are you at? She's in Amman, Jordan. Overseas, she's in the Middle East. I'm like, oh, pen pal. I'm not even going to tell because like we were talking, I could be dating someone in my own community, in my own area. And never mind the logistics of having a long distance relationship. I'm like, that's crazy. And so we were just, so it was just kind of texting each other and this and that. And then we started video chatting. Mm-hmm. And, so I'm not being catfished. So I'm actually talking to somebody and seeing somebody. Right. But then after the third conversation, I had my epiphany. I'm like, and I'm kind of praying about it. I'm like, Lord, how does this work? This woman's on the other side of the world.
Right.
And then kind of fast forward, a year and a half later, I'm in the Philippines and we're getting married. And so we hadn't even met in person yet. Right. And I just kind of jumped off the cliff and just did it. And so she had something, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to even explain about it, but it was like, I knew she was the one. And so
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody do what I did because, like I
Sure.
said, we never even met in person before we
Right.
got married or planned to get married. But it's kind of interesting because if I had met her and she was in the Philippines where she is now, we probably wouldn't have developed a relationship because the connectivity is so bad.
Mm.
And so, our phone calls and video chats on the regular are so choppy. But when she was in the Middle East, we had a constant connection where we would talk twice a day. And so we
Right.
got to know each other that way.
Right.
But if she was in the Philippines, I would have got frustrated for like, forget this. And I'd be down at the water now, like you said,
Right.
before
Right.
we had the connection. And so
Right.
that's what I'm saying. It was by accident. It wasn't necessarily that I was looking to be outside of my community or looking to be outside of the US.
Right.
But since I've done it, I'm happy that I did.
Right.
And so my wife is spoiled for the women here in the West. So like
Right.
if God forbid if something was to happen with me and my wife, I'd have to go back and get me another Filipina because the women here in the West just don't compare. It's kind of hard to explain. And
Mm.
it's like a sense of love and attention. And it's not that they don't get upset, that they don't get mad and have attitudes and things of that nature, but it's like it's a difference. And so it's been amazing. Even just in long distance, I still feel the love and I still feel the warmth from her. Is kind of wild. So it's so I didn't become a passport bro, like intentionally,
Right.
but it was like by accident. But I'm glad that I did. That I took that leap and I made that choice to come to the Philippines.
So
It was the most amazing experience in my life.
awesome. That's an awesome story. Did did you already have a passport before you met her, or did you go out and get it because of her?
I went out and got it because of her. I will say that. And
There
so,
you
yeah, I will say it. She was the
go.
reason I went and got my passport.
Right.
And so, I wanted to make sure all my ducks were in a row and things like that. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in a position to and you have the ability and the means, get your passport and go
Right.
somewhere.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's just like you said. You know, with today's technology, just your story is very similar to mine, and maybe they don't consider me a passport bro,
It
but
is it, I have a question. Passport Pro, does it had the color thing?
Yeah. So
Passport
it's
boys,
I guess that's
passport.
kind of when they say bro, it's like, I guess it's bringing like a black aspect of being like black or African American or something like that. Because I want to say it probably the challenges or the people that got upset were probably black women over here in the United States,
right,
because it wasn't just simps coming over to the Philippines, because you still get simps that come,
right,
but
Mhm.
you get prominent people that have the
Good,
means and people that have
good.
money, and those
Yes.
are the prized people that women would prize,
right,
are willing to bypass dating women in the States and go somewhere else, whether it be like South Asia or South America.
right, right. So
So what do you call the, you know, passport cracker? What do you?
No. But I mean, we were talking about that, but that's the thing. It's like it's white folks have been doing it for decades, and so
right,
it
Right.
really is really no different than that. I mean, and just I think me and Bill talked about it, like you have people that kind of bad actors that kind of mess it up for everybody here and there
right,
every now and then, but just in general, it's something that's been going on for a while, and so I guess the secret is out.
right,
It might have started off with military guys being there stationed in the Philippines and taking wives home, or marrying women there.
40, 50 years ago, huh?
Yeah, it might have started that far back. I mean, one of my friends, one of my close friends, it's funny because I knew his dad was stationed in Okinawa, so I thought that he was half Japanese, but he's actually half Filipino, and I didn't find this out till like last year.
right.
And so it's kind of interesting. So like, I feel like that might have been the start of it, just GIs being somewhere different. But at the same rate, I'm pretty sure there was GIs out doing some dubious stuff and kind of not
Sure, sure.
doing what they're supposed to be doing, kind of stuff when it comes to treating women right.
What did H2H say there? He's a passport what?
Canuck,
Kanak?
then I guess, yes.
What's a Kanak?
Yeah, what is a Kanak? Is that like a cracker?
Or a canoe.
Uh, he'll slap me later, like you know what it is.
It's really funny, but I think it's trending because women is like got hurt. Women from your country got hurt. Like, why do lots of men coming here in Asia to get a wife.
Yeah,
Right.
it's women. I feel like even though, and I have two daughters of my own, but I feel like we raise our kids just differently. Where, excuse me, the things that we teach them,
Hi,
like,
happy, happy.
you don't need a man. You don't need a man.
Right.
Go out and get your own money. You do this. Be a boss chick. Be this and be that.
Right.
Where I feel like over there, in general, like say, we are kind of painting a wide group of people, but it's
Right.
about family, and I think that's kind of how it goes. Where I feel like women are kind of brought up to take care of the family as opposed to being a boss chick.
Right.
And not that I have a challenge with those things at all, because I want my wife to have her own and to be able to do her own things.
Right.
But I think it's still a feeling or attitude that kind of goes along with it, that it's kind of hard for some women to let a man be a man. And if I got a woman that's overbearing and is just hard and difficult, then why would I want to be with you? You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
like I said, I still catch attitudes, and my wife will be upset with me about things or things like that. But it's still a difference. It's kind of
Right.
like I said, I can kind of get into some social political aspects of things too that I kind of feel like a part of the challenge, especially in the African American community.
Hmm.
But like I said, just even from a U.S. standpoint, it's just different than having women in the West, where just where with my wife, she enjoys the aspect of or thinking about taking care of me, and not that the thing is crazy thing about it is I want to take care of her, and so she'll probably be spoiled, but I know like I spent the whole month there when I was there, so not just a few weeks, and
Right.
she spoiled me, and it was like I said, it was amazing.
Right.
And so I think even with that, just if you go to a country, just a couple of weeks might not give you the whole feel of the area.
Sure.
You have to spend some time and be with the people, and
Right.
before you decide you want to make a jump like that sometimes.
Right. Right. You know, like you said earlier, and it's one of my wife's favorite phrases. She uses it so much. She jump off the cliff, take that chance, and you said that's what you had done. That's what I had done, and I'm I know H2H here in the chat did it as well. You went, you were there for a purpose, you made it happen, and you weren't there to sample all the goods, right?
No, so I'm like, that's too expensive to be a sex pat. I'm
Right.
like, forget it. I could get sex in my own community level travel, like spending $3,000-4,000 to go to the other side of the world just to have sex. Get that. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I had a purpose. And so even when we were dating, I was looking for the one. And so I've had the opportunity to spend time with a bunch of amazing women. I mean,
Mhm.
but they weren't the one.
Right.
I think I've been divorced maybe like 11, 12 years, and
Mhm.
I've dated. I've had I've like I've gone out with a lot of people,
Right.
but and it different things like white women, black women, Hispanic women. I mean, but they weren't the one. But I
Sure.
don't think it was necessarily from a race perspective. I think it literally was just geography or how they were brought up or just things like that. And so,
Right.
even if they might have been a good and an amazing woman, they still just weren't the one. So even that's part of it. So just because somebody's a Filipina doesn't necessarily make them the one or make them
Right.
perfect per se or anything like that. But I do feel like culturally there are some things in
Facts.
place that make Filipino women kind of stand out from other women, especially in the West.
Right.
Kenny, how do you know that she is the one? Like you met,
It's
as you said, you met wonderful women, but they're not the one. Like, how would you know? Is there like a goosebump or a
well, the heavens came open and God said she was the one, and like
wow?
lights and like cherubims and stuff like that. No,
Mhm.
Hit you in the head, a rock hit you
yeah,
in the head, like,
like but
she's
no,
the
it's
one.
believe it or not, it was more like a light switch being cut on,
Sure.
more like an
Like,
epiphany.
Yeah.
And so
the
did
time
I get
stop, like
say it again?
the movie, the time stop, like all the
No,
leaves
no,
falling
nothing
down,
like
like it stopped, nothing like that.
no, it was just something as simple as a light switch being cut on.
Sure.
And so like I said,
Like
all kind of women like I
switch.
said that I've had a chance, opportunity to be with, but the light switch never came on, and that kind of thing.
Right.
Wait, what do you mean light switch? Like brownouts?
No, no,
Uh,
it's a word called epiphany. It's like you see something, but then all of a sudden your eyes open and then you
right.
really see something. It's
Wow, that's
like
so deep. It's like, the saying idioms or something.
Yeah, so it might be something different with in the Philippines, but the word for it is an epiphany. Like you get an understanding, or or you get that sense of like an aha
Like you
moment.
see
Like
you see your future on that woman, something
kind of
like that.
kind of sort of, so.
My
But it was something really simple, just like click. And it's like,
right.
oh,
Well, my
wow,
wife watches a lot of K drama stuff, so she'll throw some stuff in here that you know
yeah.
in the movie. Here's how it happens,
No,
and
no slow motion, or anything like that. It was just
Nothing like
like
that.
it's like I just after that, you know, it was like I said the third time we talked on video chat. It's like click.
right,
It's like, oh shoot.
right. What's
But
going
then I
on,
was
bro?
then it was like, well, how does this work? Because she's on the other side of the world.
Right,
She's in the Middle East, and I'm like, you know,
right,
That's what I like about men, The man go first, for that woman just because he thinks about that epiphany. Like, oh, I think I have to go there. There's a purpose. I want to do that. I want to do the impossible, right, for the woman.
right. Well,
yeah.
it's like
So it
it's a
was.
challenge, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
It was
It's a
definitely a
it's a
challenge.
challenge, right? It's men. We're kind of made for to be challenged and made to go and kind of be the hero of our own story, if you will. And sometimes we just got to jump out there and jump off that cliff, as my wife always says.
Yes,
Jump
it
off the cliff.
when she's the one, we will move mountains.
There
Yes,
you
Ooh,
go.
yes.
that's good.
And so it's been an amazing. So April 6th, it'll be a year for us, and I'll be going back to the Philippines in 2 weeks. And so
Oh,
I'll spend the whole month of April there.
very good.
That's good.
And
That's
so
good.
I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I haven't seen my wife in a long time.
Right,
So
right. Yeah,
but it's
that's a part of the challenges, though. It's doing what you are doing right now. It's not for the weak at heart. It's not for the person who has doubt about every little person that my wife may speak to when you're away, or real jealousy issues and stuff like that. Because it takes it well, it takes a real man to be able to stand up,
Yeah, real man,
trust
like the
a
tough.
woman.
Only the chosen one.
only the chosen ones. Yeah.
Yeah. If you are the chosen one, you come here and marry a woman,
Right,
chosen one.
that's it. But it's
Yeah.
a
So
challenge.
it's
It's not for the weak.
yeah, for sure.
So be
And
ready.
so even with that, where my wife lives, I think I was talking to you about it, Bill. Is like you have the cities, the metropolitan areas, then you have the provinces. My wife lives on a small island. It's like 3 square miles, and so it's like country life in the province. And then you got really country life on the island, and
Right,
so their house is still being built, and that blows some people's minds away. It's like you stayed in a house that wasn't finished completely built. I'm like, no, the house about 40-50% built. Half the floor is still gravel, and birds can fly from one end of the house to the other end of the house and not touch anything.
right,
And so, but it was the most amazing experience because I knew why I was there, and I felt like I was part of the family. I felt like I was part of the community,
right.
and I knew her
Wow.
mom. I knew her mom liked me because she would feed me a lot.
That's a
So
good sign.
She
yeah,
trying to
so
fatten you up.
well, that's what
Yeah,
I told her. I'm like, tell your mom not to put so much on my plate. I mean, I'm already
right,
a big guy, so I was
right,
expecting to gain about 10 pounds while I was there. But we did a lot of walking, like just even in preparation for getting married.
right,
And I guess because the food was fresh, so everything we ate was either pulled out of the ocean that morning or pulled out of the yard that afternoon.
Wow.
So I
right,
actually lost 10 pounds, and I was like, whoa.
right.
And so it was pretty cool.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's that sweat. You lost 10 pounds of sweat.
No AC.
Yeah, no AC, none of
Right.
that. And no running water, so we had to pitch water to take showers and flush the
Wow.
toilet. But
Mhm.
we had a CR and we had an
That's
actual
love
toilet.
right there.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
but
in
I loved
love.
it. It was fine. It was fine.
Mosquito net. Have you had mosquito net too?
We had
There
mosquito nets
you
at night,
go.
but I still had tons of mosquito bites the first few days until I found some off. And
Right,
Of
so,
lotion.
yeah, my wife said the mosquitoes there still think it's a war, and so they
right.
just attack you.
You're
And so,
wrong.
But I mean, but once we got that figured out, we also used like these incense. They were like these circular incense that we would burn at night, and I guess
Katol.
this, yeah, and I think the smoke would keep them away also.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things. But it was pretty cool. So it's like even in our videos, like especially like our wedding video for the celebration after the wedding, like I said, you can see where the floor is still there, and like I said, it's the old porch. The porch has been rebuilt since I've left, but it's really a simple life, but that's what I wanted. And so like it's like originally I wanted to move to Puerto Rico.
Right.
I knew I wanted to be off the continental in the US probably back in 2016.
Sam.
And I was looking to be somewhere warm year round
Right.
and be part of a small community.
Right.
And so all the things that I was looking for in Puerto Rico came with my wife, being, in a place warm year round, tropical, and part of a small community.
Right.
And so it's kind of cool. Our bonus child, she could be a half a mile away from the house, and it's not a challenge because pretty much most of the community is like extended family, and they're going to watch out for her to make sure that she's not doing something crazy.
Right. So you just mentioned something. If you don't mind, I'll touch on that a little bit. So your wife already had children, is that correct? She was a single mother.
Yes.
And
so she didn't hide that from me. She let me know that from the beginning.
Right.
And so she told me a lot of things that I'm like, okay, you didn't necessarily have to, tell me that, but
Right.
if it makes you feel better, that's fine.
Right.
And so she didn't want any surprises or any secrets or anything like that. And so, that's another thing I took into consideration when we decided to be a couple, that, I would have another child that I would have to take care of, even outside of her.
Right.
And I was fine with that.
Right. And I'm in the same path. A lot of us, and then even the passport bros now, some of the downing that they would say is that maybe you're running away from your responsibility. However, you didn't just like run away from your responsibility, but you even picked up more responsibility with getting with a single mom. And so there is hope in the Philippines, ladies.
Yes, it is.
Mom, there's hope.
Well, one of the interesting things is it's kind of hard to find, like I'm in my 40s, it's kind of hard to find a woman our age that doesn't have children.
Sure.
Already. So that's already in the back of my head. If I'm dating somebody or find somebody, it's a pretty good chance she has kids.
Right.
Now, most of the time they're probably about the age, in high school and about to leave the house.
Right.
But, with my bonus child, she's 4 years old. So I'm kind of like back at the little people stage again.
Right. That was very much my situation too. He was 2 years old when I met my son there, and
so
God,
I think
God works, right?
I think it might be a stigma there.
Right.
I think it might be a stigma there in the Philippines, but here in the States, it's not a stigma for women to already have children.
Exactly. It's okay, and it's acceptable, especially at, like you said, our older age. When you get your 30s and 40s, everybody's got kids already, so you're, it's the way it is. So
second or third marriage, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, all that kind of. Yep. So it's as far as let me ask you this: as far as problems so far, what would you say your biggest problem has been through this journey of finding a woman from another country and marrying her, etc.? What is your biggest problem or challenge that you've had?
I guess one challenge, it's probably two challenges that kind of a little frustrating to me. One of the challenges is from time to time, my wife, she looks at her family and she feel like she needs to go back abroad to work. My wife was an OFW, working overseas, and she was the provider for her family. And so sometimes, she feel like they might not have what they need, or she wants to help somebody else, but she doesn't have any money because now she's actually, needing me to help with the support. And she feels like it drives her crazy not being able to help her family the way she wants to. And so it scares me the thought of her being back abroad working because of how she was treated in her last situation. And then the other challenge is just how long the immigration process is. We started our immigration process last September.
Right.
And at the rate it looked on the website, they won't even look at it till probably about August.
Right.
So I'll probably end up in the Philippines another 2 or 3 times before she actually makes it here to the States.
Right.
But even with that, we don't plan to live here too long.
Right. So, yeah, I feel you on that. That the paperwork and bringing your wife to the U.S. and that was one of my biggest challenges, being without her for such a long period of time. And then when we went through it, they I don't know if it's changed since you put your paperwork in, but I got a date. This is how long it's supposed. It was supposed to take 6 months, but it took
Yeah.
like a year and a year and a half or whatever before my wife actually everything was settled, done. You know, visa
Yeah.
in hand, and here let's go. That is some of the hardest thing to be a part of this, challenge, right? And
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, it's not for the weak person. And what you talked about moving to the Philippines eventually. Now,
Right.
do you think other people that are passport bros, do you think they also are looking for that, where they're going to go to that country and live, or do you think they're just bringing the ladies home, or what's your opinion?
I I could see it being a combination of both, depending on their comfort level. Because what I did is not for everyone, and the only reason I'm not out, that I'm not having not moved there already, is because I do have children from a previous marriage,
Right.
and my youngest is 12,
Hmm.
and so when she turns 18, I'm gone. And
Right.
so their mom gets her child support. Her
Sure.
child support's not late. She gets it when she's supposed to, all that kind of stuff. And so, and I spend time with my children. Matter of fact, it's my weekend to have my girls this week. And so I have
Mhm.
a 22-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old daughter. And
Okay.
like I said, when she turns my youngest, my 12-year-old turns 18, we're out of here.
Right.
And so, but like I said, the country is, like I said, it's not for everybody. And so
Right.
the first thing is, if you don't have patience,
Mm.
the Philippines is not a place to go, because things moves a whole lot slower. Things that we take for granted here that we can do in a matter of minutes, as far as even paying certain bills or things of that nature, or being able to get things, might
Right.
take months,
Right.
or weeks. And so, if you don't have patience, the Philippines is not a place for you.
I tell them, I preach it. It's like, if you're a grumpy old fart in your country, don't try to move to the Philippines, because it's going to make you
No.
even grumpier, because you're not going to be able to handle them on that Filipino time, and
Yeah,
it's going to
for
drive you
sure.
crazy.
For sure. And so, just having to do all those things, that we had to do, as far as, even because we got married over there
Right.
as opposed to getting married over here. And so that's a whole nother situation and a whole
Mhm.
nother different aspect of just legalities and things like that I had to do and get in place before we even got married.
Right.
And if we ran into some challenges, but if we didn't have those challenges, we probably wouldn't have even been able to get married, because those challenges were able to speed up our situation faster,
Right.
which is kind of interesting. So that's kind of, I feel like, the divine intervention kind of working out some things.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying we definitely got a lifetime story movie that we could write from our adventures so far.
You ready?
As far as her being an OFW, she got abandoned in Dubai by the people that she worked for in Jordan, and then just getting her out of Dubai and all the things that she had to go through with all that. I mean, we could write a book or a
Right.
movie with
Right.
our story. But everything's worked out, and I feel like it works out when it's supposed to work out. I know a lot of times we get anxious and we want things to, like I said, we're used to, that having things now, especially being here in the States.
Instant.
But I feel like even my time away from my wife gives me more time to kind of put some things in place, so when she gets here, I can spend more time with her,
Sure.
because of the things that I do, like on the side. And so, even the way I've got my work scheduled and things like that. And so, I take it as a preparation time, and I don't necessarily try to look at it as a negative. I try to look at it as a positive of getting more things in order and getting more things in place. And so, when she gets here, it's a lot easier transition for her and for us to spend time together.
Right. Right. Getting all these messages now. I don't know what happened to my wife, or she had another brownout. I know she
When
was
was
leave.
when was your son's thing at the school?
Eh, I don't know. It's Filipino time, so it might have been scheduled for like 10 a.m. or something, but who knows when it gets started and who knows, But he might have called and said, "Hey, mom, come." So,
No, I
but
got you. I got you.
she just had that brownout too, so that might have took her out, and who knows? Who knows? But
No,
we'll
it's
we'll
all
find
good.
out later. Um, John Balut in the house. Welcome in, John Balut. Thank you for that blessing. Appreciate you.
Do I need
Yeah,
to dance since the video of the dancing people not coming? Do I need to like dance that he's kind of gave it like the super chat?
right. That video. I had that music to it, and I spoke to you earlier about copyrights. That music that we used forever and ever, all of a sudden, bam, it's copyrighted now, and I
Oh
can't
wow.
use it anymore.
Oh, that's
So,
messed up.
so I
That's
can't.
messed up.
So we got to change the music and get it uploaded, and all that good stuff. Man, that's how they be doing you.
I
Somebody
got you.
put
That's
a
messed up.
copyright on it. So, but welcome in everybody. In case you're just now joining us, we are talking to Kenny from the McEastlands is the name of his channel. He talked about his story a little bit, what all went down with him. But go over to his channel, follow him there, subscribe, look at some of the things that he's been through and that he's going through in this situation. If you're thinking about being with a foreigner or getting with the Filipina, his channel is excellent to go check out and find out everything that they're going through and everything that they've been through. And he makes great videos. You guys, if my videos look like his, boy, boy, somebody might watch it.
My videos are okay.
They're
My
great.
videos are okay.
They're
But like I said,
really good.
like I said, everybody's situation will be a little bit different, and then
Yeah,
depending on what you even want. And so even with that, being with a younger woman, I'm pretty sure the situation is way different than versus like my wife. She's 37, and
right,
like I said, I'm in my 40s. I'm not gonna say how old I am in my 40s, but I'm in my
right, right,
40s.
right.
And
So it's
but
not a
say
huge gap
versus
though.
no,
So
not a so maybe yeah. I'm not gonna say how huge the gap is, but
right, huge,
but even
huge
with
gap.
that, versus if I was dating somebody 22 or
Sure,
25, those
sure,
kind of things. I'm pretty sure, with with technology and culture being like it is, or even dating a young lady from a metropolitan area, they might, have a whole nother perspective on life and marriage and relationships also.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, and I try to tell people, we always get those blanket people that want to all the Philippine ladies are all the same no matter where they're from. No, it's not like that. It's just like America. You can't find somebody from New York that's going to be just like the lady that's in Tennessee there. There's going to be differences depending on where they
Yes.
live, the people they're around, and so it's the same thing in the Philippines. It's not one Filipina is the same because no, it's not. It doesn't work like that. Right?
No. And with my wife being abroad, she's had a chance to experience a few different things also. 'Cause she's worked in China, she's
Whoa.
worked in Saudi Arabia, she's worked in Amman, Jordan a couple of times, and so, even, of course, every time you go to somewhere like that, you different customs, different experiences, and all that kind of stuff,
Exactly.
and it makes a difference.
Right.
Than just having somebody that's only had certain experiences and things like that.
Right. Yep. My
I'm
wife
very
as well.
lucky,
Yeah. Well, I like to
but
say blessed. Very blessed.
yeah. So, like Timmy saying, like that simple life, and that's what I was looking for. It's crazy because everything I do is technology based, as far as my photography, my graphic design, and my music.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted a simple life. I see affluence on a daily. For instance, where I work at, it's
Mm-hmm.
more millionaires per capita anywhere else in the United States, believe it or not,
Whoa.
which is
Very
crazy.
cool.
In Tennessee, you would not think Tennessee would be that place, but it is, and specifically the area that I work. But
Right.
those people don't impress me. It's
Right.
like, I've got, clients with Ferraris and Corvettes and all, like $1 million houses, but that don't impress me. I'm like,
Right.
what do you do in your community? Those are the things that impress me.
Right.
And so yeah, so it's like even though I have a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm not rich, but I'm definitely not I'm not poor for
Right.
sure.
Well, you done seen the other side of the world, so
Yeah,
you know what poor really looks like. Not
yeah, and so, but that was when that's a good thing that I kind of loved about when I was over there. A lot of these people didn't literally, like we would say, have a pot to piss in, but they had joy.
right,
And joy is something that a lot of people don't have. They don't have happiness and joy. We're so in a rush to get to the next place and to the next thing so we can have more things. Well, these people didn't have a whole lot, but they were happy
right,
and they had joy. And that was amazing to me.
right,
Where, like I say, I'm in a place where I see a lot of influence, and my kids themselves are like having fits because their internet, they can't connect online. I'm like,
right,
baby, that's a first world problem.
right. Exactly.
And you're worried about those things.
Right,
But it's I love that. Like I said, I love that sense of community that I experienced when I was there. It was great.
right.
It was great.
It's different. It's something really to experience. But you went there for long enough that you kind of got um, you got the full taste. You didn't just get a sample platter. You got the full taste, and you really seen what it's like being there, living, rather than just on a week sexcapade
Right.
and you're out of there. And
Well, you figure after a month, people gonna get tired of keeping on the mask, and they're gonna show you their true self eventually. You know what I mean?
exactly,
And
especially when it's
so,
not hot and you get mosquitoes. And
yeah. So yeah, yeah. So it was. I feel like I got a chance. Like I was just in one small section of the country, so that's just like saying, going to Knoxville, kind of, and that's the whole sample of the United States. And so, I can't even say that for the Philippines because I was just
exactly.
in a small area. But I got to experience it from three different levels, from an
Sure.
island perspective, which was amazing, then from a province perspective, and then there was also a metropolitan area. Was it Tagumparan City or something like that? I
Yeah.
can never pronounce it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I
And so
can't.
we would be in the metropolitan area whenever we would go to like need to just make some major purchases or anything like that.
Some
And
shooting
so, but
stars in the house.
I would rather be on the island than be in the province or be in the metropolitan area. I loved
Right.
being
Right.
on the island. It was
Yes.
very simple.
Yeah, it's a different life when you're so basic and you know, can you make that break? Can you get away and live like that? And some of us can, some of us can't. And I'm a beautiful man. I don't know if I can go to just a simple island. I got a lot of needs.
I
It's
hear you.
about food. It's about food. Let me not lie.
No, I got you. So, like I said, I ate what the family ate.
Right,
And so
right,
her father was concerned that I was going to have a challenge eating so many vegetables. And so
right,
I thought I was going to complain. But,
right,
when people found out, he's from the United States and he's staying in the house, and like I said, the house not even finished being built.
right,
And it was
right,
like, he's not complaining. I'm like, no,
right,
I'm having a great time.
right.
I'm out. I'm not being standoffish. I'm sitting with the family. I'm enjoying, even though I don't know
Exactly.
the language. Only
Right,
time I knew they was talking about me, especially if we were walking in the neighborhood, would be like Black American, and that would be
right, right,
that would be the only thing I understood my wife say,
right,
because people would want to know, where I was from.
right.
But no, it was an amazing experience. It's not for everybody. If my family was to ever come visit me, they would probably have to stay on the resort. I
Right.
don't think they can handle being in province or being on the island. I really
Now,
don't.
now let me ask you your path. When you came over to the Philippines, you flew into Manila, then to Cebu.
No, I flew into Pinglao, and Pinglao is like southern tip of Bohol.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so there's an airport there. So, and from Pinglao, we drove up
Took
the
the boat.
coast, and then we had to take a boat. It's like a 10-minute boat ride to get to the
Right,
island.
right. Yeah.
But I got a chance to experience jeepneys. I got a chance to
Oh, yeah.
experience hobble hobbles. I mean, all those different ways of getting around. Like I said, being on a
Oh
boat, all
man.
that kind of stuff. And so it was like an adventure to me, where
Oh
like we take things for granted here.
yeah.
Over there, they might think it's just everyday mundane life, but to me, it was an adventure and a new experience,
Right.
and that's kind of
Right.
how I took it.
You really got to make a plan to go to some of the places. We went island hopping. We took our car, and so we had to map it. We had to figure out where can we go, where can we catch the right type of ferry to get over and bring our car. And there's challenges. It's not in America. It's so easy.
Yeah,
You can drive from New York all the way to LA, and
Yeah,
it's not
anybody looking to
difficult.
relocate there, those are things that you have to think about. The things that you
Right,
want or the things you want to do. How easily can you, have accessibility to them?
right,
And so,
yeah,
but I don't need much. I just need internet and toilet paper.
right.
Yeah, that's all I need is internet and toilet paper, and I'm
Oh,
good. So
man.
when I move there, that's the one thing I might make sure that the internet in the house is just top notch.
Well, well, good luck. As you see, Mercy did confirm she was another brownout. So
Got you.
it's even if our internet is good, you still got to have power. So
Still gotta have power.
yeah. So she got bumped off for that one this time. But it like if you live there on the smaller island and trying to get good internet, and you told me a little bit about some of the problems that you're having even communicating with your wife right now. Would you like to explain to us a little bit? I don't know if you said it on our live yet or not. Would you like to tell us about how fun it is to be able to talk to your wife?
I mean, it could be extremely difficult because I'm assuming there's just so much bandwidth in the area. And
Yeah.
so even if people don't have computers, a lot of people still have smartphones, and those are probably the time of day that they're on. I
Hmm.
think I saw a statistic. I don't know how true it is. It's saying that the Philippines is the biggest users of social media in the world. And
I,
so if they're online and we're trying to do video chats, that bandwidth isn't there, and so the
right.
phones are glitching and it's dropping, and you know only hearing every second or third word or things of that nature. And so,
Right.
like I said, if I met her that way first,
Hmm.
then we probably wouldn't be together because I wouldn't have
Yeah.
I can't
The-
communicate with this woman. She speaks
right.
English, but we can't communicate because her phone is
Right.
not good or
Right.
whatever.
Too
But yeah, I
choppy.
know a good luck getting internet. So I know
Right.
I've been looking at what is the Elon Musk internet?
Start Starlink.
Starlink.
Yeah.
I've been looking at that possibly for the house,
Right.
but I'm not worried about that just yet until I got a few years to kind of get some things in place before
True.
internet is something I have to necessarily worry about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what they
Electric
yeah
is leading social media. Yeah. Most people I know are probably on most of the social media things out there. From they're on them all: TikTok, YouTube, Facebooks,
yeah.
IG, all of them. They're there.
So it's taking up bandwidth. It's kind of funny because I'll be on the south side of the island or the east, yeah, south side of the island, and I'd have one carrier. Then I get to the
Mhm.
north side of the island, I had a different carrier. So I guess I was getting one carrier from Bohol, and then on the
Right.
north side of the island, I was getting another carrier from Cebu. And I'm
Right.
like, this is weird.
Right.
But I guess I don't know. Do you have to buy your buy the data or buy the gigs or something like that? Is that how
Uh,
you and Mercy do?
yeah. Just well, I try to stay out of it. She just says she's giving me a load. So when we go out,
Yeah,
put a load on my phone, then I have
yeah.
some internet. And then once I use it up, she got to put another load on there, that kind of thing. So I like to keep it
I'm used to
simple.
having unlimited data.
Exactly, exactly. Ken,
And so I
welcome
guess
in.
that's one of the
Ken,
one of
Big K,
one of the
Big Kevin.
one of the spoiled
Yeah.
things I would have to kind of get used to for
Right.
sure. It's like not having unlimited data.
Exactly.
I almost
But
bought a phone while I was there.
yeah, it's it's a challenge. I actually, first year and a half of living there, I didn't even carry a phone because it was so frustrating for me to worry about a load and figure out if I have it before I go out and all that. Like, forget it. Just as long as you got a phone, we're together. I'm cool. So our kids had a phone, so if I was going to go somewhere without her or whatever, I just take the kids' phone. But I wouldn't carry my own. But later on, she wanted a new phone, so I took over her old one. So that's when I became a phone holder in the Philippines.
Got you.
Yeah,
But like I said, it's not for everybody, but I do feel like it is for me. I'm excited about the possibilities of just being somewhere different, and
yeah,
that's where I plan on spending the rest of my life. I mean,
right,
we look to travel and go to a lot of different places in the region, but I'm excited about just having a simple life on this little bitty island with just 4,600 people on it. I'm stoked about it.
Right. That you can go to a store here that have that many people in it, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
no
It's like the
problem.
size of a neighborhood, basically,
Right.
and that's
Exactly.
that's kind of what it is. 3 square miles is like a neighborhood over here.
And then you got probably some beautiful beaches on every walk that way. Beautiful beach over there. Beautiful
Well,
beach.
we'll see. Interesting to say the island is Kabilao. It's
Mhm.
Kabilao Island, and there's only really like 3 or 4 beaches on the island. Most of the island is cliff.
Oh, okay. Very
And
good.
so but there's I want to say there's maybe like 3 different beaches on the island.
Uh,
It's kind of interesting though because the shelf for the ocean floor goes out about 60 meters before it drops off, so you can wade like waist to chest deep
way out
for
there.
for forever before you have to worry about falling off.
Right.
And so that's pretty cool for just being in the water, and then the water is like super clear. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I could still see my feet, which was amazing, and no matter where I was.
Right.
Um, Funny story. If I remember how my wife told it, my father-in-law used to dive, fish, dive to fish,
Right.
and like the family had a boat and everything, and he swam up on a whale shark because the channel's that deep in between the islands,
Uh huh.
and it scared the mess out of him, and he sold the boat. And so, north of Cebu, people are paying a lot of money to swim with whale sharks, but my father-in-law
Right.
swims up on one and it scares him, so he gets rid of the boat.
Oh man. Uh, for me, I still haven't been in the water since I've been here to Hawaii. I watch too much TV. I grew up during Jaws.
Jaws.
It messes with me. Like in the Philippines, I can get out in the water pretty decent, but here I haven't even been out there because I know there's some big old great whites running around this bad boy. So scary,
I
scary.
got you. My
Uh,
challenge was just kind of scared I would walk on a sea urchin or something like that. That was my biggest concern.
right. Do you wear your slippers out there? Or your
I did, but I didn't like that feeling. I'm used to being barefoot when I'm in the water.
right, right.
So, and I'm a decent swimmer, so swimming isn't a challenge. But I'm
That's
just
good.
scared if I sit down or put my foot down, I'm gonna be on a sea urchin.
Right.
But that
How
was my
about
only
the
concern.
wife? Is she a good swimmer?
I think she's just a okay swimmer, that kind of thing. I think she said her challenge is being able to tread for a long time.
Right, right.
And so
Well,
even though she's
my
an
wife
island
doesn't
girl,
swim.
yeah, oh,
Right,
she don't
that's good.
swim.
No, it's like you either find them that they're like the best swimmers ever, or it's like they're petrified of the water and don't never get in it. So, like you guys
So
live on
many,
an island.
so
What's
much
going on?
water.
Right.
There's so much water. I swim with whales here in America, but somehow
Ouch.
Andrew is so funny.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah, I haven't even been in all these beaches that we've been to, Habsters, and I still haven't. Other than my toes have been in the water while I've been here, but other than that, that's about it.
That's
Oh,
funny.
boy.
So yeah, so I ended up being married to a Filipina by accident. I mean, well, not necessarily by accident, but I wasn't going looking for a Filipina,
Right,
if that
right.
makes sense. But I'm happy
So,
that I ended up with a Filipina.
so you did not start off with, as they say, a fetish that you had to have a Filipina. It wasn't
No,
I'm gonna go get me a Filipina.
I mean, interesting enough, I will say that what's her name? My mind went blank as soon as I thought about it. My movie crush is Michelle Yeoh. I will say that
Okay,
though.
there you go.
So I did find like Asian women very attractive.
Sure,
But yeah,
sure.
Michelle Yeoh is my movie crush. Her
Right.
and Lucy Liu.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think it was a
Yeah.
fetish, but it just kind of happened.
Yeah. It just started off with a hello, and next thing you know, you're got your passport at hand, and
Yes, yes. And so if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't still have my passport. And so even just in general, I feel like that's outside of my driver's license probably the most important document that I have.
oh yeah,
And I feel like anybody, like I said earlier in the show, anybody that's has the means should have a passport and be able to get out of where they are and try something
right.
different and meet new people and try new things because you know, your mind, your mind expands when you kind of get those new experiences, and it's kind of hard to put it back in the box.
Right.
And so, but ladies, beware if you got you a long distance relationship and they're not trying to make efforts to come see you. Yeah, they might not be too serious about you. So, I mean, if they're serious about you, they're going to figure out a way to get over there. As long as they don't have like felonies and stuff like that.
Right.
Those are things that you can't have on your record to get a passport.
Right.
But if they're not actively trying to find a way to come see you, then keep that as your side dude and go find somebody else. I know that it's not uncommon for a woman to be chatting multiple guys just to find out who's serious. Like I said, I'm not naive to think that I'm the only American that my wife talked to. She's told me about other experiences and things like that.
Sure.
So even with that, my wife liked different. You know what I mean? She was attracted to different guys, not necessarily just Filipino guys.
Right.
And so, but yeah, guys, ladies, if they're not trying to come see you or trying to figure out some way to come see you, then, you might kind of just keep that on the back burner.
Right. And that's what I kind of talk to, we do the single lady interviews, etc. And I talk to them a lot before, they ever make it up on the screen. And I try to talk to them about, what to expect and what if they are in a relationship. And, a guy can sit there and BS you all day long. And I'm coming to, as soon as this, it was the pandemic, I'm going to come see you as soon as does he have his passport? If he doesn't have his passport, that means he is not serious. He's using you as a form of entertainment. It may be cheap entertainment.
That's what it is. Attention and entertainment.
Exactly. JG, welcome in. Hey, you guys, if you have not been over to the McEastlands channel, go hit it up. Now's your chance. Don't be shy. Go over and check them out. Today he's on here. He's answering all the hard questions about being a passport bro. But go check him out on his channel as well. He's got great videos. They put out great info. You guys get over there and show him some love. Maybe you put, hey, I seen you on CheckouttheRileys. But you guys have probably seen him before.
It's all good.
Yeah, you've probably seen him before. He's been coming to our channel for years now, I think.
Yeah, I pop in and out of the chats here and there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think you just had your name on there at first, right, for your channel. I think it was just like
I'm not
Kenneth or
no. I think it's always been the McEastlands. Okay. I do have multiple YouTube channels. Like I do music, so I have like a YouTube channel where I kind of put my music on.
Okay.
And then I was messing around with doing reviews and things of that nature, but I just don't have the time to do them like I used to. Like all the random junk I buy on Amazon, I do a review on it. So I started a YouTube channel with that. And then I kind of do like crazy expensive Legos, kind of like on this top shelf. I ain't gonna say how much money I spent for that Lego, but I had like a channel where I would build stuff and models and things like that. So multiple channels, but the music channel was monetized, and then the McEastland channel is close to being monetized. We were like 3,700 hours. So I guess we're about less than 300 hours before we're monetized.
All right, you guys heard that? Go over there and hit him up with one of his playlists. Let it play, everybody.
I think it's fairly interesting, especially for the people that haven't been over here or been, that's experienced a simple island life. Yeah, so if your fiance got his passport, then he's serious. That's the thing. So if he got his passport because of you, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, it's like I said, a lot like you said, Bill. A lot of times it's just entertainment and for attention. If they're not making effort to kind of make that happen, if they have the means, and then if they don't have the means, then that might be a concern too, that you might not want to be with somebody that doesn't have the means.
Right, exactly. Because the process of bringing them over to the U.S. or maybe whatever country they're in, it's a process, and it takes money. And if you have zero money, or if you can't get a sponsor or whatever, then it may not be for you as well. So,
let's see, who was it? I think it was JGBK. I'm not in the Philippines yet. I'm just I've visited. I'm back in the United States, and me and my wife have started our immigration process. and it'll still be a little while before the immigration process goes through. But I'm headed back to the Philippines in about 2 weeks, and I'll spend the whole month of April in the Philippines.
Awesome.
I'll have Easter in the Philippines.
Very good.
I'm pretty sure that'll be interesting in itself.
Oh yeah. Can be. Just
Yeah.
depends.
For sure.
Somebody else got them a passport,
Passport, bro.
Uh-oh.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. But yeah, so like I said, I'm not in the I think even here, because in my social media, I'm posting pretty much just pictures of me and my wife together in the Philippines or her. I think a lot of people think I've already moved over.
Right.
But I haven't moved over just yet. Like I said, I'll probably end up visiting maybe at least once or twice a year,
Sure.
while we get our process going. And then, of course, I'll want to make sure my wife gets back and forth, to see her family, because she's definitely very family oriented.
Sure.
And so if I have a concern, that's one of my concerns, is that, she won't have the same level of community here that she has there. Even though there is a Filipino community here. Like I said, one of the people she went to college with is how we got connected.
Right.
Lives about 40 minutes away from me.
Right.
And I was introduced to all the ladies that's part of her little pod through a birthday party. Yeah, so I got the thumbs up from the ladies. It's probably like about 11 to 15 Filipino ladies there, and I got the thumbs up from them. They all liked me, so I thought that was a good sign.
That's really good. Those in America, you would be surprised. You don't even know there's a Philippine community near you, and then also, like us, we're a part of it, and then they're just coming out. I'm like, man, I didn't even know these people were Filipino. I thought they were just Mexican or.
I know that. I thought her friend was Mexican.
Exactly. Like, you didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't know you're Filipino. What?
Yeah, and that's what I told my wife.
Was in the church. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I think even because of the names tend to be Latin based.
Exactly.
And so my wife's name is Linie Mulatto Flores, and Flores is like a common Latin name over here. Exactly. Her mom's name is Carmen. Her dad's name is Crisito. These are like, Latin sounding names. I think
JG's applying.
Let's see. White guys were the original passport bros.
Right. You just gotta scratch out the bros and write cracker, and you'll be fine, JG. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, come on over, get your passport. But it's interesting. Do your research before you come if you don't already have anybody to connect with over here, and that way you have an itinerary and plans, and you know what to do and what not to do.
Right. Know where to go, depending on what you're looking for. Because some people, let's face it, some people are there for a rendezvous. They're not looking for a relationship, but they're looking for a rendezvous. They want to get entangled with somebody, and if that's your thing and you keep it above table, it's you and her both know this is what it is.
Yes.
I don't have the issue with it. It's the
you need to be upfront.
It's the scammer type that, I'm going to bring you back to my country, but I want to come over and take you for a test drive for a month or two and then dump you, and that.
So it's kind of interesting. This is a guy, Austin Holloman. I think he's kind of like the face of the movement kind of right now, the passport bro. Yeah. And I've watched a few of his videos, and he actually seems like a really intelligent young man, and I kind of appreciate what he's doing and how he's going about it, because I think he's upfront with these ladies. He's like, hey, I'm only going to be here for a little while, and so he's been in Brazil. Kind of got in trouble in Brazil though, but I think he was in Thailand, and I think like Indonesia, and then he was in the Philippines for a little while. But he also talks about going to Europe and doing things in Europe, and so, but he said, I'm not ready to get married yet, and so I think that's the fact that he knows this.
Right.
I think that's a good thing. And, if he's upfront with these ladies, that's a good thing.
As long as he's upfront with them and he's not promising them the world and then yanking the carpet out from under him, right?
Yeah. And so, but yeah, so I kind of like watching some of his content. I think he actually puts out some pretty decent stuff, and he pretty much supports himself by his YouTube content, and he's traveling to these different places. I think he might be in Vietnam right now.
Awesome.
So do you respect the OG passport bros? I guess. Because interesting enough, I run into a number of black guys here and there that are married to Filipinas and stuff.
Right.
And
Before it was a thing.
Before it was a thing. There's actually a Filipino store in market. I say it's store and market. A Filipino market and restaurant, not too far from me. And so I tried my first set of Filipino food there before I even met my wife or made it to the country. And it's like the only one probably for hundreds of miles.
Whoa.
I'd have to travel like another 2-3 hours to find another Filipino store or restaurant.
Oh.
It's a funny story. Like when I was going in the first time, my wife is on the phone, and I guess the guy that I'm ordering the food from, he can hear her talking. And she's talking to him in Visayan, and I don't know what she's saying.
Right.
And I order something, and I'm like, okay, that'll be about $15. And then when he brings me my food, it's like $26. And I'm like, man, I had to go from $15 to $26. She was talking to him, and she was ordering stuff for me over the phone, and I didn't know what she was ordering. And it was like an extra like $15, $20 that she ordered for me. And then I'm seeing the guy just kind of shaking his head. He knows what's going on and this and that. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
And so she's on the phone and she's ordering extra food for me. It was kind of funny.
Right. She making sure you're getting full.
But yeah, so from time to time I try to make my way over. I know, right? Yeah. And so she still hasn't got me to try balut yet. And so that's not the game plan, but I'm willing to try a little bit of everything.
Right.
And except that and innards. I don't do pork innards. I don't do chitlins.
Yeah. Right.
I don't do chitlins.
What about the innards from the chickens?
No, don't do that. Don't do that either. So even at our wedding reception, it's like a bowl there. I'm like, what's in that bowl? She said, try it. It's yummy. I'm like, no, baby, what's in the bowl? She's like, it's pork innards. I'm like, oh no, I don't eat chitlins at home. I'm not going to eat chitlins in the Philippines. And so it's one of those things. Let's see. I don't even want to mispronounce the name of your language. It says a mix of multiple languages and Spanish language. I can see that, especially with the Spanish influence of the island, just as the country as a whole, a little bit of Spanish is mixed in.
So let's see. Chad is jumpy on me here. So JG's a city boy. He wants to, he don't want to be tortured by going to the wrong spot in the Philippines. He want to stay in the big city.
Oh yeah. So if like I said, it's not for everybody. And like I said, I don't want to be in the cities. The cities will, is loud and too much going on.
Right.
And people on scooters that look like they need to be getting ran over or something like that, because it's like their traffic is like, oh my gosh, like organized chaos. But I enjoyed the simplicity of it, and I think that's it. Even growing up here in Middle Tennessee, it's been relatively slow up into the past few years, and that's part of what I enjoyed about it, was the fact that it's slow enough to raise a family, but if you want to find something interesting to do, you can find something interesting to do. But my goal is to be somewhere warm year round.
Right. Adrian, welcome in. Happy birthday. If I didn't tell you enough already. What are you, 15 already? 16? Joking.
He has a karaoke channel?
Well, that's interesting. Adrian has a sports/karaoke.
Sports. Okay, see, sports and karaoke. Okay.
Yeah, he's Adrian, it's like he has a hamburger and pizza channel. I don't know. Right.
So even funny story about that. The family didn't have a working TV in the house. So for Christmas, as opposed to just buying a bunch of gifts, I bought a TV and an audio system for the house.
Very cool.
And so my wife said that was probably the best gift that anybody could have gave them, because they constantly do karaoke. That's where they use all their data up. They use all their data up, doing karaoke.
Karaoke.
But my only concern is I called early one morning, because it was like a 14-hour difference at one point, or 12, 13-hour difference.
Yeah.
And her mom was up at 5 a.m. doing karaoke.
She's just loving it.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
right.
5 a.m. doing karaoke. I don't know about that. But
yeah.
I mean, contend with chickens on the island or turkeys and stuff like that. I mean, they'll start crowing at 11 o'clock at night, and it's not 5 a.m. It's crazy.
these damn roosters don't even know what time it is. It's
They're
like
disrespectful. They're so
2 in the
disrespectful.
morning and they start going off like,
And then all of them will start crowing. It's just disrespectful. That was. I got video of that somewhere on my channel. Them disrespectful chickens. They gangster chickens. They just go where they want to go
they
to.
just be waking people up for no reason.
It's gangster. So yeah. So like I said, if you're a city boy, then you definitely want to stay in the metropolitan areas. And so I haven't been to Cebu yet. And when I was in Manila, I was only in the airport.
Oh, okay.
And so
Good thing. You
it
might
was
have
a
not,
good thing.
you might have like get me back on that plane. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, so this like Taco Bear is nowhere near as big as probably Cebu or either Manila either. So, but like I said, so you have your choices of places to be. Just like if you know you was here in the States, you can be in the city, you can be in the country, however you
That's
want to
it.
be.
And everywhere in between. You know, like we live in a small city, like outside of it, so we got places we can go to get out of the city, and then we're about an hour away from the bigger city. So
Let's see. We got a question here, like by how long. I knew my wife about a year and a half before we got married, and so we have been corresponding for about that long.
Oh yeah, GG.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was the question I was just answering. So yeah, so we knew each other for about a year and a half.
There you go. So as
So
my
like
wife
I said,
says,
we had never even met in person.
but when you came there, you knew you were going to marry her. You brought what you needed to
That was the
bring,
plan.
right? If it
Yeah,
all
my
went well.
only yeah, my mom and my sister. Well, my mom was concerned, but her only concern was that, you know, excuse me, that we had chemistry.
Sure.
She wasn't worried about anything else, and she knows I don't make just decisions just kind of just unrationally, or you don't think about things or try to think things through. But her only concern was that we hadn't met in person and that we might not have chemistry. But when we first met, it was like it was just like everything flowed and everything felt natural. Nothing felt pushed or rushed or
Right.
it just felt like it was supposed to feel, if that makes sense.
Yep.
It just kind of worked. And so even just the family, I'd asked her mom, I'm like, everybody was worried about me coming to the Philippines, and not having met you guys and, just staying in the family's house the whole nine.
Right.
I said, but there's like, did you have any concerns about me staying with you guys? Because even with that, she's got her nieces in the house.
Sure.
And so it's like I think one's 13, one's 14.
Mm-hmm.
I said, did you have any concerns about me coming to stay, in the house with the young girls and this and that? And she's like, no, I didn't have any concerns because from time to time I would listen to you guys' conversations and the things that you guys would talk about and the way that you talk to my wife made me feel comfortable having you as a guest in our home.
Sure. Very good.
And so that kind of stuff makes a difference for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've heard people say, it's they don't believe in people falling in love via whatever social media or anything like that. It's not the same or whatever. And for myself, I was a person that I fell in love with my wife before I ever touched her hand, and I already knew I was going to the Philippines to marry this woman who it was the first time I was meeting her as well. And, in the back of your mind, you have to be smart enough to know, like, if I get there and she's not at the airport and all of a sudden I find out that no, I'm not marrying her, of course. But, if she is true to who she says she is, this is who I want to spend my life with. So I did the same thing. So, it's not unheard of for me, but for other people, it's malarkey. What are you talking about? You crazy. So you got some screws loose. What's going on?
I had a few people like, yeah, so, do we need to know anything before you, get kidnapped while you're in the Philippines or you don't come back? Or this? I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. But that's like what some people say, I couldn't do what you've done because, it takes a lot of guts or balls, legs. Man, I don't have the balls you have because I couldn't have just jumped across the world and just married some woman I haven't met before.
You're staying across from a Nigerian brothel. What?
Okay.
Where are you at?
His name Makati.
Watch out. What is going down? Okay, Tim, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Yeah, everybody, again, thank you for coming. We're trying to
Yes,
get
thank
to
you.
the
Thank
bottom
you.
of this passport bro stuff, and I thought, why just have me up here talking about it? Why not bring in a passport bro that got hooked?
I got hooked. I got hooked.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and being part of the community and meeting the people. And of course, you get looks, being like one of the only, black people in the area or this and that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I'm kind of used to being in different areas because even where I work at here in Middle Tennessee, I'm in a predominantly white area. So a lot of times I'm the only minority person in the area.
Right.
So I'm kind of used to that. That's not uncommon to me, shall I say.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm thinking everybody would pretty much most of the people we came across were pretty nice and just very welcoming, that kind of thing. And then once I think there's always a level of skepticism on their side also,
Mm-hmm.
when I was staying with her. But once we officially got married, it was people that were kind of standoffish. They kind of, they became nicer and stuff like that when they saw that my intentions were true.
Sure.
That was my intentions. I wasn't there, like I said, I wasn't there to be a sex pat. I was there to marry, to get a wife.
Right. Exactly. Timmy says she had to eat her own words as well. How can you fall in love with somebody over the internet?
Yeah, because I wouldn't recommend anybody do what I did. I mean, like it's possible, but like I said, I feel like lightning strikes kind of weird sometimes.
Hey, it was
And
it was
so,
meant
but
to be. There you go.
yeah, if it's meant to be,
how you gonna meet and why? When I did it, it wasn't. It was very rare for somebody to meet somebody over the internet, and so we've been married a while, so it wasn't like it is now. And Ken said he was talking to Maureen, his lady, for 4 years before he was able to go over because of COVID and stuff.
yeah,
But
I had to push my flight back maybe 3 different times because of COVID.
right,
It's so one of the things too is like what one of the arguments is like evidently you can't get a woman here in the United States, and that's why you have to go abroad to get a woman, or you want somebody to just be like a slave and just take care of your house and this and that kind of stuff. I'm like, no,
there you
that wasn't the case. Like I said, for me it was by accident. I wasn't looking for that.
go. Right,
And so, but like I said earlier, when we were talking, it's just a difference, I think, than how we raise our women over here versus
right,
how women in places like that are raised, where
right.
family is the center, as
Sure.
opposed to you get your money, you get your thing, don't worry about no man, you don't need a man.
Right,
And so, I feel like we need each other,
right.
just in
Now,
general.
right now, there's always those. We're You're not sitting here telling everybody, hey, don't talk to any ladies in the U.S. because they're all nasty and mean and grr 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 grr, all this stuff people say.
Yeah,
But you're saying that this works for you.
right.
And,
And so, like, I feel like there's good women everywhere, and like I
sure,
said, but like anytime, and like you always hear, like say, we're all the good people, and we're all the good women, and we're all the good men, and you sometimes you have to go through the process, or those kind of things.
right.
um I'm pretty sure, like I said, I know, just like it's awful, women in the West, I'm sure it's awful women in the Philippines also, that
There
kind of thing. And
is.
so the thing is just knowing how to kind of maneuver and kind of look for cues and things like that. um One of the things I had my antennas up for was like sob stories and asking for money.
Right,
My wife, the whole time, even when she was going through challenges and even when she was stranded in Dubai, she never asked me for a cent.
right.
I mean, so things like that I kind of watched out for. So even today, like I said, it's hard for her to even ask me for something. I think
Right.
JG was asking how many international flights have I taken. When I flew over to the Philippines last year, that was my very first time flying international. I was more concerned about dealing with COVID restrictions and testing than I was meeting her family and meeting her for the first time. I wasn't worried about any of that because I knew what my intentions were. My concern was just being able to make it to my next flight, to my next flight, to my next flight. That was my only concern. But that was my first time flying internationally.
Right.
I haven't been to Mexico or anything like that.
Very good. Yeah, I had my passport before I came to meet my wife, so I had been outside the country before, but I had to go get another one because when you get divorced from somebody, they don't give you all your stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I had to go get a replacement. But anyways, um, you know, for you who's never been outside the country to decide to not only trust in this Filipino who you met online to travel all the way over to her country because she couldn't come to your country.
No.
You had to go to hers.
She wouldn't have the means or anything like that to
Right.
come this way. And
Right.
so, I mean, I knew that I was dealing with somebody that wasn't affluent and didn't have a lot of money, but like, so I knew these things. And so her mom made a comment, if he really loves you, he'll come to you. And so, I mean, not that I had anything to prove about my love, but that was my plan, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and then, it's much easier for us. We don't have to get the special visa just to get into a country, that sort of thing. And, if she would have applied for a visa to come to the U.S., 99.9%, her being a single lady, and you guys never meeting, she would not have gotten approved. And
Right.
Unless she was just so wealthy that and had so much reason to go back, but it just doesn't work like that.
No, I got you. It was it's kind of interesting because some kind of way we had 90 Day Fiance interview us.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah. And so I think we were doing really good and was like in a running, but then my wife told me to tell them that we didn't want any fabricated drama. And that's because, a lot of times they will fabricate the challenges that those people run into in those shows. And I think that's knocked us out because my wife said that we didn't want any fabricated drama.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I'm like, oh well. And then they contacted me like several months later. Hey, are you guys still interested? I'm like, we're already married. So
Right.
I'm not worried about it. Let's see. I think somebody was asking what was the rush. It wasn't necessarily a rush. I feel like if you know, whether you marrying somebody from the West or from the East. I know some people like to have long drawn out, engagements. If that works for them, that's fine. But I was fine. It kind of, believe it or not, being married and the fact that we are in a long distance relationship kind of helps me keep my focus. And so I have my goal and I have my purpose that I'm working towards.
Right.
And so say if we were just dating, it wouldn't be hard to just kind of go have a drink with some young lady around the corner. But the fact that I'm married now and I'm in a committed relationship, it helps me kind of keep my blinders on and my focus as far as what I want and what I plan to do, because I have so much invested as far as time and finances in our relationship already. To mess that up would be just so stupid, just for, like I said, just like a fling or something like that. And so, and then I did think about the challenges with all the craziness that goes in the world from time to time, and just being able to go back and see my family or my wife as need be. And so, if we're married, then they can't say, well, no, you can't come into the country, because it's another pandemic or whatever. But no, I've got a family here. So, if my paperwork's in order, you have to let me in. So I will say that was in the back of my head also, but I don't feel like it was rushed. I feel like when you're with somebody, usually after the first 6 or 7 months, you see the true person, because you tend to have a challenge or something that, makes you take your mask off. You're dealing with something like a situation that kind of, I feel like after that amount of time, whether or not you can deal with that person's crazy or whether or not they can deal with your crazy. And I think that's it in a lot of cases, whether or not you can put up with each other's crazy when you kind of go through those moments.
Exactly. Yeah, you're crazy gotta match up. Your puzzle piece crazy gotta be very similar. Now, as far as backlash, I know we touched on it a little bit. So since all this has happened, has there been anybody, and you don't have to give names unless you want to, we'll point right at them, but has there been anybody that you know of that really came out strong against what you were doing, whether it's relatives or associates or people you work with or whatever. Did anybody really come hard at you?
No, not at all. And so if people are thinking it, they're keeping it to themselves. And
Right.
then, people that have known me for a while know that I'm not irrational or just make quick decisions or just kind of just jump at things without thinking about it. And so no, and that's I guess that's been a blessing. We haven't had any negative things at all. I've in our feeds or like our social medias, I think we've only had 2 negative comments in the past year.
Mm,
And so, but with that, those were people that weren't close or connected to us or anything like that.
sure.
And so I tell our story all the time, especially,
Mm,
because I feel like it's an interesting story. I think it's like
sure.
a fun and cool story. So I tell our story all the time. And usually people are just amazed and they actually want to know more. And sometimes people say, thanks for sharing that with me. That's, that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But I don't haven't got any negative or any like, no negative feedback about us doing what we did.
Mhm.
Um, my middle girl did make the comment kind of like similar to JG. He's like, "Why so fast?" I'm like, I don't know. To me, a year and a half isn't fast. I don't know. That's just me.
Sure.
And so, but she had some concerns or whatever. But I think that's just like what you see in the media. Because, like I said, you do see scammers and things of that nature and that kind of stuff. And so I know it was, even when I was like messing around with some online dating stuff, I had a young lady talking, giving me the sob story and saying that, that they needed money to pay the rent. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Mm,
well, you let me know how that works out,
right.
like, so, but like
Right.
I said, if my wife is for that, she's doing amazing at the long game. Cause,
Right. She milking it long term. Huh?
yeah, so her long game was amazing. She's got some strategy down and kind of make sure
Right.
that, things
Right.
don't pop off that way. But that's one of her biggest concerns is that people will only think that she's marrying me because of the financial situation, because her family isn't wealthy, or because she doesn't have a great job and things like that. And so
Sure.
I don't know. Some of us tend to put our value based off of our jobs.
Right.
And so my wife definitely the fact that she had a job and she was taking care of her family that gave
Right.
her a lot of personal value. But
Right.
I'm like, you know, I'm like, no, your job doesn't define you. Like
Right.
I was telling Bill, like I'm a barber, but I don't have any hair. I'm a
Right.
bald barber, but cutting hair is what I do. But being a barber isn't who I am.
Right.
And so by nature, I'm an artist. I'm a creative person, and so that's why I call myself an artist. And I just cut hair to make sure I'm not a starving artist,
Right.
kind of thing. Because I got to pay bills. I got child support for some kids and stuff like that.
I see.
So, like I said, I'm not shirking my responsibilities, and I do spend time with my kids and my family, that kind of stuff. But like I said, the long plan is to be there in the Philippines in several years,
Sure.
for sure.
See, what do we see here? I know JG had a little bit of a comeback on what you were saying there. It's not exactly long, but yeah, and we totally understand that, JG.
Yeah.
Not it's not for the weak or the
No, it's not.
uh,
Yeah, I think people know when they're kind of being BS'd.
right.
So if you got the wrong idea, the wrong purpose, I mean, and you trying to act like you're getting in. I think people will know that you're trying to kind of get over on them.
Let's see what else JG says
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't recommend anybody doing what I did because yeah, it can definitely end in disaster. Um, but like I said, I feel like I had some divine intervention in play with my situation as far as every angle or every aspect of it. There was like some things that happened and put in place for us that they made our situation work out good.
here. Right.
If I had concerns, I would, I definitely wouldn't have came. That's like I said, that's an investment to make to just travel
Sure.
to the other side of the world. And then I had, once you get your marriage license, you got 10 days before everything goes through. So I had 10 days to jump out the window and go,
Right.
go somewhere else
Back
and
in the
hide
day. Right.
if I didn't think it was on the up and up. Because part of our story is, when you get married in the Philippines and we got married there, I had to bring in legal paperwork showing I had the capacity to marry. I had to show
Right.
that I was officially divorced. We had to do a cinema
Right.
showing that she wasn't married and I wasn't married, and then her parents were giving consent for her to be married. Well, she was over 25, so she didn't necessarily need her parents' consent. And then we went to go get our marriage license, and in the municipality of Loon, and the
Mhm.
register was just really mean to us. And I don't know if it's because I was a foreigner, if she was having a bad day or what, but she was just really mean to us. And she was like, "Why did you guys just come now? It's a Monday, and I got there on a Friday." I'm like, because I just got here." And it's like, "No, we can't do this." And say, "So you guys, before you can get a license, you have to have a marriage seminar." So
Right.
it's seminar and seminar.
Right.
And so I'm like, "Okay." She said, "So when can we take the seminar?" She's like, "Well, we only do the seminar twice a month, and all our classes are full, so we can't give you the seminar." She said, "Maybe
Right.
you guys," I mean, like, and a lot of it is, just her tone, the way she's talking to us. So,
Right. Right.
in the chat, like, "Well, maybe you guys can go to another city and do it, but we can't do that for you here." I'm like, "Okay." So we go to the next city up, and it's a city called Calape. And we go there, we go to the registrar's office, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're doing a class tonight. So if you guys want to wait a few hours, you can take the class tonight."
Right.
Now, if we had done the class in Loon, where we were, the islands associated with, we would have had to wait like a week or two before we could take the
Right.
class.
Right.
And then I'm waiting the 10 days and this
Mhm.
and that, and we wouldn't have had enough time to get married.
Right.
So the fact that she turned us away put us in a
Mhm.
better situation. So when we came back the next day, she was like, "How'd you guys get this so fast?" Well, we did
Right.
what you said, go to the next town. And then she
Right.
was like, "Well, I still can't marry you guys." I'm like, "Why?" Because according to the paperwork, you guys have to go to the embassy in order to get,
Right.
get the paperwork done. And then it's like, "Wait a minute, but according to the embassy website, we can have it done in the local municipalities." She's like, "No,
Exactly.
that's not the case. That's not the case. Show me proof.
Right.
Show me proof." So then
Yeah.
we had to go get copies of the web page. She said,
Right.
"Well, I still can't do it because here's the paperwork that I have. It says as of March 26th, you have
Right.
to go to the embassy." Well, I'm like, "Well, ma'am,
Right.
my paperwork says April 1st."
Right. Welcome
And
to
then
the Philippines.
yeah, I know,
One
right?
man
And then
don't know
and
what the other man do.
my wife pulls out her phone and she starts recording her. And she's like, "Are you going to record me?" And my wife was like, "Yes." And so the reason being is so when we go to our lawyer to find out what we did wrong, he can hear what you said, so we can get the situation squared away. And after that, she became a whole nother person, and
Right.
she gave us our marriage license.
Right.
And it was crazy that we had to even go through that. But like the fact that we had to go to another town to do it, if we had done it just with her and say she was accommodating, we wouldn't have had enough time to get married.
Right.
But the fact that we had to go to the other town and we got the seminar that night, which was in Visayan, and only understood every third word or something like that because every now and then she would break into English
Right.
and then asking me my opinion on stuff, and I'm like, yeah,
Right.
but
Sitting
but
there nodding.
exactly. So even little situations like that worked in our favor that under normal circumstances would have messed us up. I mean, those like said, little divine, you know, favor kind of coming into play that I feel like that kind of worked with our relationship. I mean, and that's not even the only stories. It's like we've got several stories
Exactly.
where things probably shouldn't have worked out, but they did and kind of worked in our favor.
Right. MKTV, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hey, if you guys haven't hit that thumbs up yet, share this out. Go ahead and do all that good stuff. We really appreciate you. Thank you for being on our live stream today as we talk to one of these wicked passport
I'm
brothers.
awful. I'm so awful.
He's
I go to
horrible.
other countries to marry a woman. It's awful.
Right.
But let's see.
So,
With JG, let's see. Good women only come every now and then. It's I mean, and they're far and in between. And so when you find a good one, it's like you try to hold on to them because it's no telling how long before the next good woman comes by. And so I'm a music guy, so like when you do music, you start your song or you start your verse or you start singing at a certain point, and then you have to wait before you can get back into the song again for it to make sense. But like I said, when you come across a good woman, you don't let them go. And so I came across a good woman, and I was willing to risk it all just to kind of to make it happen. And so even to being my first time out of the country, and I did have somebody else ask me that question. Well, how come you guys got married so soon? And it was actually a passport, bro. But he's one of those people. He's online telling people, you need to come here. You got the advantage on these women, and I'm like, I wasn't really digging his message.
right.
But he's like, why'd you get married so soon? But like I said, if she's the one, then why do I need to keep looking? Why do I need to keep going around? And that's the difference. I mean, like I said, I've dated a lot of amazing women. I've spent time with a lot of amazing women, but they just weren't the one. And then when I found the one, I was willing to, like I said, risk it all and just jump off the cliff and do it, just straight YOLO.
There you go. So you didn't want to take that chance to, if she decided, well, he's just testing the waters. He's not serious. He's not um, the same level as me. I'm sure she probably told you she's looking for a husband. She wasn't
Yeah.
looking for somebody just to play games with her, right?
And that's the thing. I was looking for a wife. I done had tons of girlfriends, but I was looking for a wife. And so just because sometimes good girlfriends don't even make good wives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because that kind of thing. But I appreciate you praying for us, man. It's all good.
Hey, we all need some. I'll take some of those too, JG. Yeah, but it's to each their own. I think and just like I said earlier, whatever they're calling it today. Right now we're passport bro. Next week they'll focus on the whatever the guy that's going over and he's meeting his wife in another state. Whatever whatever the drama is of the time. And back when I got married to my wife, my ex-wife would even make fun of me saying that did you order from a magazine? Did you is it a mail order bride, that kind of thing. She's been divorced and been with several men back and I'm still with my wife. And she's been re-divorced, married, re-divorced. I don't even know what her situation is now, and don't care. She trying to make fun of somebody. It's like, okay. Anyways,
But JG, getting to know a person in person is definitely not. It's not a waste of time at all. LDR isn't for everybody. Because like I said, people will kind of try to get over you, show you the best version of themselves, or I've heard stories of women being married and their husbands being in on it so they can get over on foreigners. I mean, so you hear the good with the bad also. But like I said, I had some things in play, like I said, from just with my personal belief system that kind of worked out that made me feel comfortable with going through the situation. But yeah, vetting and getting to know somebody is definitely important for sure.
Yeah, that's right, Timmy. Just because it's very clear to you and your vision and your side and stuff. Only time will tell everybody else. And just like with us, you know, the naysayers started coming up to me asking me, "Hey, I need a good woman like your woman. Where can I get one?" You might not be there yet, Kenny, but I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it happens. You'll be like, people will ask you, "Well, I like to get some of that Filipina you got. Seems like the right fit. Where can
yeah.
I sign up?
I,
What
I've had a few
website
people.
you
Well,
go to?"
I've had a couple of people approach me, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to introduce you to her cousins or this and that because I know you're a knucklehead.
Yeah, that's it too.
I know you're a knucklehead. And I'm not going to introduce you to a good woman so you can do
Prince
something
World,
stupid.
yeah. Introduce you to a good woman and you're not a good dude. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
And so,
So
but it's like I said, I do feel like our stories are unique, and like I said, I don't recommend doing what I did for anybody.
right.
I took a big chance. I took a very big chance, and it could have very well ended badly. Like I'll come home with no kidneys or something like that. But
2 kidneys.
yeah, I wake up and I got like two big scars up my back because I
Right.
lost my kidneys. But
They done sized you up when you came there. What blood type are you,
I
buddy?
know, right? But but no, like I said, but I did a lot of praying. I mean, just even as far as just before we even officially became a couple, I did a lot of praying about the situation too.
Right.
And so, and evidently, she said she was doing the same thing. it was a particular sign that she wanted God to show her for her to know that I was the person,
Right.
and that kind of thing. And so, and
Yeah.
she said she saw the sign and that she prayed about. And so, like I said, a
Awesome.
lot of ours is like just divine intervention.
Sure.
It's not every day at all,
Right.
at all.
That is right. So Philip thinks he wants a sugar mama. He's still on
Hey,
his sugar mama
it's all
kick.
good.
Hey, you know, they're far and few in between. Far, those sugar mamas out there is most of the sugar they're spreading right now is something you probably don't want to eat.
Oh no, like the
Uh,
guy on The Simpsons. Oh no.
right. It's 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 amazing, when I was looking into this and finding out. I'm on TikTok as well, and that is where it's really. I mean, these ladies on there go at each other, from ladies from the states and ladies from different countries, and they're saying different things about each other. All the women
Yeah.
in the Philippines are, of course, they're uneducated. They don't speak English. They are weak minded. They're not. They have no way to stand up for themselves. So that's why you passport bros come over to exclusively take advantage of this type of woman, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And what do you think about some of those heated arguments that they're having, and how the woman that's never been out of her backyard can judge these ladies over here in
Yeah.
another country and see these things?
Well, I mean, like just culturally, like I said, it's this new thing. I'm gonna say it's a new thing. It's been a while around for a little while. Like that whole level of boss chick and
Right.
those kind of things, and like I said, that independent ladies and that kind of stuff, where it's become part of the culture, and that's what a lot of women strive for, to where they don't need a man. But that's like just like good women are far in between. Same thing with guys. Good guys are far in
True.
between, and so the thing is just for a woman to recognize when they have a good man, and not to. I think I was trying to kind of stay away from this a little bit, but it's kind of hard to, especially with our community.
Sure.
The black family has only been around for maybe 3 generations or so
Mm.
from slavery, because a lot of times they wouldn't be complete family units.
Right.
And
Right.
so here is, you have this woman having to take care of her family on her own, because her husband has been sold off to another plantation or things of that nature. So they have to be strong, and they have to endure, and they have to have that inner strength in them to survive. And so when they finally get into a situation where you do have a complete family, I feel like sometimes it's hard for a woman to let go and let her husband or her man be a man, or be that person in the household that they need to be. And just even with that, generations of men not being in the home, as far as black men, they don't know. A lot of times we kind of mimic the things that we see with our families. And so
Mhm.
here it is, you got, like I said, just 3 generations roughly of black family being there. And
Right.
so it's like those things that tend to be taught down from generation to generation are just now being there. For instance, my mom and dad were the first ones in their family to go to college, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Where you just don't know. So even a nuclear family as we know it in the black community is only maybe 3 generations.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of like a thing that's kind of ingrown into our women, that they're so strong, and they don't give men a chance to be a man sometimes.
Right.
And
Right.
they'll be loud, and they'll be overbearing, and they've got that strength, that there's no balance between the masculine and the feminine energy. And that's my personal belief on it. That's my opinion of it, and why
Sure.
things are the way they are as far as the African American community. But then, like I said, just in general, women, over here is just, we just raise our women differently than a lot of other countries do when it comes to like family, family in general. Because think about it, it's not uncommon for it to be multiple generations in the same household, right?
Right.
Where here, our goal is to have a single family household, and then mama get too old, we need to put her in a home.
Right.
But it's you go to like Latin countries or, like South Asian countries, it might be mom, grandma, everybody's, all in the same
Sure.
household. And so
Mhm.
just even things like that are different here in the West, where people have different things. And, I still believe it does take a community to raise a child
Sure.
where, a lot of times when you're in the smaller provinces and on the island, you do have that community that watches
Right.
after everybody's children or, make sure
Right.
that they're not doing something too crazy.
Mhm.
But like I said, that's my personal opinion on why Black women tend to be so strong and so, so kind of hard to deal with at times. And then,
Mhm.
like I said, we're painting a wide stroke, and this
Sure.
isn't everybody, and this
Right.
is not everybody's story. But just having family, just in general, is not part of our history here in the United States. Where even just in Africa, it's still a different situation. So even like passport bros going to Africa, not necessarily even South Asia, to find
Mhm.
women. And they'll say the same thing about them. Oh, they're African bush chicks and they don't know how to speak English and blah, blah, blah. You
Right.
just want a slave, or, to cook
Right.
your food and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But what's wrong with cooking your husband's food?
Right.
You know what I mean? What's wrong with, you want your house clean, so you're going to clean the house, right?
Right.
Like, so whether you're married or not, you're going to clean the house.
Right.
But I think it's just a lot of it, is just in perspective. And so I feel like a lot of them feel threatened, especially like I said earlier in the show when a lot of what you call would be prize people or guys are leaving the country to find women in different places as opposed to finding somebody at home.
Right. Now, you think, in America, what's your opinion of what a prize guy looks like compared to, you know, I don't know kind of how to say it
Well,
now.
I guess nowadays it's a man with a job,
But
a good job,
I
so he can pay his bills,
exactly. He's making a
that kind of thing.
certain amount of digits, and whether he's a good inner person or not. I think there in the U.S., I felt like before I even could attempt to go out with somebody, they were running a credit check and doing the inventory list, what you have, and
But sometimes you kind of have to, because be realistically, I was taught, was it romance without finance is a nuisance. So I mean, so I don't have a challenge with a young lady wanting to have somebody that has something and can take care of them, but from
sure,
a standpoint of not, knowing that they're not going to be like somewhere hungry,
right, but
you know.
but you don't have to have six figures to be able to be taken care of in most places in America, right? Like say Indiana, or where I was from, you don't necessarily have to make that six-figure income to live a decent life. And but
Right.
I would run into those women that if you're not six figures plus, we're not there's not going to be any second date or whatever. It's so. But I feel like you know I didn't date around in the Philippines, but I see like a lot of the Philippine ladies, they will just kind of settle for somebody that doesn't have, not only they don't have, the six digits, they don't even have the 2, 3 digits. They just settle for, hey, I'm accepting. You say you love me. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting, but I feel like even with that, I think I heard somebody say, listen to an interview with a young lady from there, and she was saying like, in general, I want somebody older because in general, older guys tend to have already kind of gotten their stuff together. In
Mm,
general, like I said, we paint a wide brush,
right,
where
right.
like younger guys are still kind of doing a thing, or that kind of stuff, or still getting their finances like they
Sure.
need to be or whatever. Where if somebody's in their 50s or 60s, they're close to possibly retirement, and so they got
Mhm.
401ks and this kind of stuff, and
Right.
so that you're not going to just eat bananas every day. That was her mom's joke. So you're gonna get married. So what are you guys gonna do? Eat bananas?
Right,
It's
right.
like what does he do for money?
That's
And
it.
so, but yeah, but even money shouldn't be your focus, but at the same rate, you don't want to be attached to somebody that can't support you.
Right.
And so if they don't have the money to get a passport and they don't have the money to fly over there, then they probably can't support you.
Right. And that's something that, I can't tell you how many times I mention it to the girls, and, they're talking to these guys online, and I've talked to them where they've been in a 6-year LDR. The guy doesn't have a steady job. He doesn't have a passport. He doesn't have plans on when he's going to come over or anything. And trying to wake them up to, do you realize what situation you're in? And is that really where you want to be? How many years have you wasted on this so far, waiting for this guy to grow up? And he's not going to, if he hasn't done it in the 6 years. Everybody, back then we're blaming COVID. COVID's the reason I can't,
Right.
But since all that changed, it's really showing, if he still doesn't have a plan to come over, if he's still not showing you his passport, if he still doesn't, if he's not talking about the future, he's only talking this little light talk, hi honey, hi baby, I don't want to get to know you deeply or anything like that, then it has to be considered just a cheap form of entertainment for him.
Yes.
Because if he was paying for that stuff in the U.S., he'd have to pay like $19.95 a minute to talk to a girl to do what you're doing. So
Yeah, don't be because that can go to some bad places. Because even I know, like the two relationships my ex had before with foreigners, she's trying to help them get stuff and situations squared away. Well, those guys would have never been able to go over to the Philippines.
right.
And so one of them, she was with them for, from a long LDR for a while. But like I said, that man would have never been able to make it to the Philippines because of finances and because of drug problems.
Right.
And then the other guy had felonies. And so like, as much as I hate to say, you shouldn't even entertain those situations because they would have never been able to come see you.
Right. Yeah. If there's no possibility, it's not, you just, there's a famous couple right now on TikTok, and Tommy, the hot dog guy or whatever. And, he is one of them, and they've done interviews. So I'm not like putting his info out. I've talked to him and stuff, but he has a felony in his past, so he cannot come to the Philippines. There's no way possible. And even though they're in love, and she's an internet hit for the moment, or meme, or whatever you want to call her, they can be in that relationship all day long. But realistically, unless the winds change and he gets like picked up by a tornado and dropped off in the Philippines somewhere, it's just wishful thinking on their part. And maybe one of these days they'll both wake up and figure out what they're gonna do. But
yeah, it's not easy dating. I will say that dating is not easy, especially nowadays. And like, I'm an '80s kid, and you usually kind of date from your high school or college or in your social circles or things of that nature. But now we're just naturally so busy over here with work and things like that. So so we look to online, and so kind of like JG was saying before, vetting. I mean, so you're looking online, and all you see is you see the curated images and the curated descriptions.
right.
And so, like you said, getting to know somebody and vet somebody, that's one of those ways of spending time. And so, even though me and my wife weren't physically together, we spent a lot of time on the phone just talking. And like I said, in good times and bad times. And so I know what she's like when she's in distress and when she's having problems and challenges. I know what that looks like, what that sounds like.
Right.
To the point now that if she sends me a text message, I know what kind of day she's having from her text message. Because I've spent that time in there. So even though we weren't physically together, I mean, I'm seeing her, I'm visually seeing her every day. I'm watching her mannerisms. I'm those kind of things I'm looking at it. So, and just the things that she's asking me, or things she's telling me, or things she's willing to tell me, it's the same things. If somebody was beside me, it would be the same situation. The only thing is I'm just not physically touching them.
Right.
And so we were literally going 2 dates a day, because we would talk. She was in a different time zone, so we would talk. In my convenient time, and then we would talk in her convenient time.
Right.
And so we probably talked more
Mhm.
than I would be with somebody I would be dating that was close to me.
Right.
And so we got to know each other that way.
Right.
And so those are, so you do have to watch out for things. I'm like I said, my situation isn't the norm at
Right.
all, at all, at all.
So you guys make sure that you go ahead and there's his channel right there at the bottom, scrolling along there, the McEastlands. And yes, you may say his name wrong, just like everybody else. But go ahead and go over to their channel, check them out. Don't. I would drop a link, but I'm not good at this stuff. I barely can keep up with the chat. Sorry, guys. My wife runs the show around here.
It's all good. Like I said, I mean, even after the show, I'm still part of the community here on this channel where I pop in from time to time and let you guys know I'm watching. So
yeah, so good. Yep, and I'll try to in the description, if you guys are watching this later, I'll try to get his link in there, so in case you cannot find it. I think your name is pretty unique, so you should be able to find it pretty easily.
If you come across anybody with that last name, they are a relative of me. We've searched the world over and have not found any other McEastlands other than the McEastlands that are connected to our family.
Okay. Well,
as far as we know, my grandmother made that name up.
Oh, did she?
Mm-hmm. So here, just culturally in the United States, most of after slavery, most of them took on the last names of their owners.
Right.
So I'm saying, not all black people. A lot of black people have the last name. So Smiths, Williams, these kind of things. But my great grandfather was mixed, and he was adopted by some white folks called the Eastlands. And his original father's last name was McGowan. Okay. And his mom got, when they found out what had happened, his mom got ran out of town, like having these mixed kids, right?
Right.
And so so the babies were adopted by this family called the Eastlands. And so when my grandmother and my grandfather got together, my grandmother put those two names together, McGowan and Eastland, and made it McEastland. So good. Like I said, as far as we know, that's like I said, if anybody has that name and you ever see them on this and that or whatever, they are a direct relative of us.
Right. Very good. Welcome in, David. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and start winding down the show. We really appreciate Kenny being able to come in and help us understand the Passport Bro movement a little bit, his opinion of it, and whether he considered himself as one of do you consider yourself a Passport Bro, or?
I think I am by chance. Okay. By chance. Like I said, I didn't go looking for a Filipina. I didn't look to have to travel the world to be with my wife. I didn't plan on any of that. It just kind of happened. Right. But after I look at the fact, I'm like, after being with a woman from that region of the world, Western women are kind of hard to deal with. So,
so yeah. I made a good choice for myself. Of course, it's all for yourself. I got a sister that's she'll make somebody a fine wife one of these days. And she's an American, and a couple sisters, and my older sister's been married a long time. She seems to be a good wife, but I just couldn't find one that lasted with me and was down to ride out no matter thick or thin. And I feel like with my wife, she's going to be with me whether I'm struggling today or wealthy tomorrow. It's all going to be the same one, and I don't have to worry about that. And it's a good spot to be in, right?
It's a good spot to be in. It really is. And so it's hard enough just finding a good woman, like I said, but then like I said, to try to find one on this side of the world, it's kind of tricky too. Kind of like David said, I agree with David said. They're respectful and appreciative and generally much easier to spend time with. Right. For sure. I've definitely found that to be the case.
Yep. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's it's been an interesting topic, and we may touch on it again coming up, but you guys kind of look into it and keep your eyes open. Out there, people use Passport Bros very widely, so you could hear. The good, the bad, and the ugly when people talk about them, and don't get so set on this person. If that one guy is doing bad out there, he's running around being a butthead. Don't use that wide brush and all of them are the same and they're all doing the dirt and they're all bad. And let's think about it a little bit, and give everybody, each person is their own. Kenny's responsible for his situation. I'm responsible for mine, and each one of the guys out there, the same thing. So remember that when you're hearing some lady yelling and screaming because a guy ran over to the Philippines and got him a old Filipina, and she didn't think it was the right thing for him to do. That's she can have that opinion, but remember, there's other people with different opinions. So, but thank
Timmy,
you.
Timmy said something about next time bring my wife. I mentioned it to my wife to see if she could possibly chime in, but my wife is pretty shy.
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you guys do reach out and touch bases with his wife, go to their channel. You'll see she's putting up shorts. She's putting up
Tons of
different
shorts.
videos. Guys, go get to know her and welcome her to the community. Make her feel at home, talking to us and all that good stuff. And maybe we can have her up on a live stream and ask her, why does she get with the Passport Bro? What's going on?
That could be a good one. Yeah. Why did she choose a Passport?
There you go. Why did you get you a Passport Bro? part the other side of the story. I don't know. Anyways, again, Kenny, thank you for
it's all
being
good.
here.
Thank you for having me up.
No problem. Any last words before you go? I'm gonna drop you down there. Scott, welcome in.
Oh man, no, nothing I could think of. Like I said, just appreciative, giving me a chance to kind of tell my story a little bit. And like I said, I've been part of the Filipino community now for about a year now, and it's been an amazing experience. Just different channels here and there, and just meeting different people. It's been pretty awesome.
All right. Well, thank you again, and everybody. Again, there's the name of his channel, the McEastlands. Go check him out. Thank you, Kenny. We'll talk to you next time, my friend.
See you guys later. Thanks.
Bye. God bless. Yeah, you guys. Looks like I'm having a little bit of choppiness to my internet here, so I think I better hurry up and get off here before it shuts down on me, or who knows? Here in the Philippines, I'm joking. Here in Hawaii, sometimes no, it's been like this week. We've been having some issues, but I guess it happens to all of us, right? The internet's not 100% every day. So, again, thank you guys for being here on your way out. Don't forget to give us that thumbs up. Leave a comment if you choose to. Leave a comment. Tell us what you might want to see on our next live stream or on an upcoming live stream. Till then, everybody, thank you for checking out the Rileys. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's live stream. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we want to express our gratitude.
I don't know why this isn't working. Uh-oh. Let's try it again.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's live stream. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we want to express our gratitude for your support and engagement throughout the broadcast. Your comments, questions, and feedback made this a truly interactive experience, and we appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to join in today.
Man.
Before we sign off, we want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Remember, by subscribing, you'll get notifications when we go live.